Katherine Naylor Pullman, welcome to The Truth Is.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be with you. We've spent a lot of the day together, unexpectedly, and it's been a treat to catch up. And I'm so excited to sit down with you today to talk about Our Third Place, which you're the founder and CEO of. Our Third Place is a global dinner party series and community designed to connect women across their industry. And there's a lot of exciting change on the horizon now that you're stepping in. This is your full-time role. You've educated me on the way these dinners are set up is really intentional, and there's a couple ground rules and then a couple kickoff questions, if you will. So I wanted to start our conversation today with inviting you to maybe set us up the way you would set up a dinner.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. So, if you were to come to one of our dinners, your dinner host would welcome you and about 7 to 8 other women, and you all would go around in a circle. Mm-hmm. And you'd say your name, where you work, and then we choose one work question and one fun question. So for the sake of right now, I'm going to ask you a work and a personal question. But before then, there's 3 ground rules at every dinner. The first is come as you are. Mm-hmm. So if you need to show up in sweatpants and cry because your babysitter canceled last minute, that's totally okay. Mm-hmm. If you need to order champagne because you got that promotion, if you need to vent about what job offer to take or not take, whatever you need for those 2 hours, the phones are away. You are there just to come as you are. Our second rule is to use confidentiality when appropriate. And our third rule is to practice the pivot rule, which is my favorite rule. So the pivot rule is if at any point you feel uncomfortable about what's happening at the table, a conversation that's happening, you can say pivot, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. And you can use the pivot rule as an attendee or the dinner host. So it allows this moments oh, okay, I have a safety net if anything's being discussed that I don't want to talk about. Okay, so for today, work question, let's do your win of the week.
Okay.
And since we're both Swifties, what's your favorite Taylor Swift era?
Ooh.
For the personal question?
Okay, mine, 1989 is big for me.
Okay.
I think it was 2014-ish. Do you know that?
I'm just thinking about what I was doing when I was listening to the album.
Check. Well, I think it was 2014 when I was finishing college. And so my sisters and I are Swifties. I love, just as music does for everyone, it brings you back to a specific time in life. And end of college was such a nostalgic time for me. So 1989, work win of the week is having this conversation. I was telling you this morning, the last time I was in New York was about 10 months ago, and it was an inflection point of me for the first time having a conversation about making a big change in my career. And since then, we've both left our corporate roles to pursue ventures of our own. And so it's wild to be here 10 months later. I was emotional riding here to meet you this morning, just thinking about how much can change in 10 months.
Yeah.
And it feels so celebratory to be all of a sudden sitting with you having this conversation. I couldn't have predicted it 10 months ago.
I couldn't have predicted it 10 days ago.
Right. Right. And so that's my win of the week.
I love it.
Tell me yours.
My win of the week is I am such a summer person. I love the summer. But this week I find myself being I'm so happy it's fall, and I'm so happy to get back into a schedule and get back into a routine. So I think my win is that I'm realizing that I can be excited about new seasons instead of being scared of new seasons. And my favorite Taylor Swift era is the Red album.
Red's good.
Yeah, but I'm pretty pumped about this engagement era. I personally felt like I got engaged again when I found out that she was engaged. So I'm very, very happy for you, Taylor. I can't wait for the wedding.
Yeah, Taylor, can't wait for you to be on The Truth Is.
Yeah, on it, manifest.
And at a dinner of Kathryn.
And at a dinner. You're more than welcome to come.
Tell me a little bit. We're going to get into so much about Our Third Place and the journey of it. But before we dive in further, tell me a little bit about why those 3 rules or parameters for setting up a dinner amongst strangers and then hopefully friends.
Our mission is to supercharge your network with friendship. Mm-hmm. When I sat back and thought about, okay, how are we going to facilitate friendship, it's an ask. Like I'm asking people to trust one another, because that is the core pillar of friendship, is trust. So that's why we came up with those 3 rules, because if you show up as you are, if you use confidentiality, and if you practice the pivot rule, all of a sudden you have 3 different elements of trust. So here's a perfect example of one that I love to use. I went to one of our dinners and I was having a really bad cycle. And I looked at the woman next to me. I'm like, sorry, I'm having the worst period of my life. So here I am. I'm coming as I am. She then proceeded to tell me that she was a doula on the side. So she's an ad tech, but her side gig is being a doula. And we ended up getting to talking about what a doula is, how to track your cycle. Well, a year later, when I wanted to get pregnant, I could use that confidentiality card, and I called her. And I was like, can I have a conversation with you about getting pregnant? And even when I got pregnant, she was my doula. And throughout the whole process, I got to use the pivot rule with her. I could be like, nope, pivot. I don't want to talk about that with pregnancy. Oh, yep, let's go this route. So if I hadn't started our dinner with just being authentic and with coming as I am, I would have never known this was her side gig, and I wouldn't have been gifted the tool of her for when I was ready to have my child. And so a member of our third place was in the delivery room with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that, and it connects to this podcast, because this has been a culmination of a lot of different experiences as I've had, but as I've thought about what is the container that I want to set having these conversations on my own platform. I love the come as you are. So I think that's such an invitation, like, for us today. And it's even just funny, like, as I'm sitting here with you, like, we've had a funny day of thinking we were doing this earlier, and here we are.
Yeah.
And here we are. Like, it's the afternoon, it's been a day, and it's a nice permission to just be.